Um, this is I laugh a lot at some things, and so this just to me. So I'm just going to put this out on the airwaves, spirit in the radio, because I was experiencing Galactic Talk that's on right now with Jessa Morocco, and I was amusing myself in when you realize. The speed at which you're vibrating, which is what you become aware of, which is your soul conscious, which is the essence of your spirit, right? So, and this is the way it's been ever since I was a little kid. Is that when if I'm, you know, I experience what love is. That's okay. So anything that is less than what that is, which is the internal love vibration I experience through me, is what I'm experiencing through you, not in me. I'm experiencing the resistance you have as a result of them not experiencing the purest of energy, which is purified. Okay, so it's one thing to experience purification in your spirit, to experience the purity of that light, which is the purity of that love, which is unconditional, goes on forever, gifting, 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 which means with me as a child, remember how I described that? It's giving everything away. That means giving all your mass away, being massless, no mass, no physical form, spirit form, purity of that light. That's me. Okay. That's my normal state. It's to not be in matter, but you can be in any matter because you realize I'm everywhere. Because you realize that I am, which is what love is, it goes on forever, which is the purest of light, which is the purest of fire, goes on forever. So when you experience being what that is, you're everywhere. That light, that real light is everywhere that life is. That's what I am. So when you start out and you already know that as a little kid in the early 1950s, then anything that you're experiencing is somebody else that is communicating to you that you see on a phone like Galactic Talk. I'm going to experience the resistance in you, in me. Okay. And then that becomes, if you will, a measurement of whatever you happen to be experiencing at the time that you're experiencing it, either through what you feel or what you're thinking, and thus you communicate that energy. So this is why, as a child, for example, I remembered, okay, I trust what it is that I am because I know that I go on forever because that's the essence of my spirit with my soul as a polarity integrator. So I'm a monopole, okay, which is the purity of light, which is the purity of fire, which is the purity of the love because it's real, because that's what we experience. Experiencing through our heart and soul what we are in energy, which is our core. I call it a blast furnace. Okay? That's a lot of fire. That's eternal fire. So you realize that we burn everything up everywhere we go. So there has to be a way to cool us down because we're on fire. And that's the purity of the light, but the spirit purity of the fire that's burning off anything that's less than what the purity of that light is. That's a purifier. You're experiencing being purified in spirit. So you can think of purified spirit in water, purified spirit in the air, purified spirit in the earth, purified spirit in all the elementals. There's the purity of your consciousness, which is the purity of the energy that represents your soul with your spirit. So when that's what we experience being what we are in energy, which is the purity of that energy, then everything else that is not who we are, which is different from what we are, because we can measure the difference in the resistance to experience that, which means for them to experience that level of purity in their own heart. It's not this. It's this, your heart. That's why the heart was developed. Because somebody was intelligent enough to figure it out. That if you want to run a high-speed accelerator, a hyperdrive, then the vortex, the bigger the vortex, the more light we're experiencing at a higher rate of speed by the acceleration of those electrons. The atoms that are vibrating, that are communicating that with us. Wow, those atoms are on fire. Yeah. So you're with the first teacher. Love is the first teacher. The purity of that heart, which is the purity of that heart wheel. That's the fastest vortex there is. Burn it all off. Right? Now you're the law. That's the law of one. That's what it means to experience the law of one in your own heart and soul, because that's what I experience in my heart and soul and have ever since I was a little exceptionally excited kid. Right? So this, because we're hyper, what we're measuring is your acceleration. Okay? Because we're going to measure the difference between your accelerator and our accelerator, which is a measurement of the purity, which is the purity of the heart, which is the purity of the light, which is the purity of the spirit that's on fire, because they've reached a level at which they become what that is. That's becoming what love is at the purest level of the purest fire that is burning off anything that is less than what you experience, because now you're experiencing what you are, which is what love is. Now you're at the exact center point of a sphere of light. So you're running hot, and that's a hot mirror. That's a high-speed accelerator. Okay. So you know why accelerators, high-speed accelerators, are the cleanup crew. Mowers, lawn mowers. You see them. The mob, right? Mowing across. The mob mowing across. Look how much light, how much fire that is. When you experience that through your heart, through all the atoms, and you can imagine when all the atoms come together with all that light accelerating, that's a lot of fire, baby. So you know that fire is the answer. Spirit that is in that fire. That's for Jessica Morocco. Fire in the heart, man. Fire in the hole. Fire pit. It's actually infinite. That love goes on forever and always. Forever. For Eve. For Eve. Okay? For Eve, Jessica. For Eve. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you all in heaven. Heaven's in our heart and soul.